I'm Nico, back at Pinkwall Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make potato gnocchi. So I've got just over 500 grams of potatoes. These particular potatoes are russet potatoes. You can also use Maris Piper as well. And what we need to do is, with a knife, make a small sort of incision around the perimeter of the potato, just like that. And then what you want to do is prick on either side of each potato. So essentially, by pricking these spuds, what it does, it helps draw out the moisture from the potato. I've got an oven that's been preheated to 200 degrees Celsius, and we're going to bake the potatoes on rock salt. What the rock salt does, it also helps with drawing out the moisture from the potatoes. So I'd say probably about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes should be fine, and then we're good to go. Is that it?
Yeah. You gonna put them in the oven?
See you in a minute. Alrighty, spuds come out. Yes, beautiful, looking good. So it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. Just check the potato to see if it's cooked. Perfect, good to go. So I'm just going to take these out of the pan and let them cool probably for about 15 minutes. While your potatoes cool down, you can start with the rest of the ingredients. So I've got some flour here, a little bit of salt, a bit of pepper, and an egg. So for the amount of potatoes we've got 500 grams or just over 500 grams. So I think one egg yolk should be enough. But just judge it accordingly. If you're using a bit more, you can probably add a little touch more egg yolk. And if you're using a little bit less, then you can probably use half an egg yolk. But generally, for 500 grams of potatoes or just over, one egg yolk is enough. And then, obviously, with the egg white, you can save that and you can use that for an omelette or something later on in life. Okay, groovy. So all I'm going to do here with the potatoes, they've cooled down. I'm just going to slice them in half. And check that out here, have a look. You can see the potato is beautifully cooked and it's not moist at all. It's just nice and dry on the inside and cooked perfectly, which is what we want for the gnocchi dough. Next thing we do, I've got a potato ricer. You can use a moulie, or you can use just your regular fork or a potato masher, that's fine as well. But I do suggest if you can get your hands on a potato ricer, use it. It's an awesome tool. It's great for making mashed potato as well, and great for making for gnocchi. So potatoes just go straight into the ricer, and with the leftover skins, you can keep them because they're really good for like a loaded potato skins, or they're just nice just to snack on as well. if you want to snack, and then you can snack on roasted potato skins. It's delicious. Okay, cool. So potatoes are ready to go and be riced, and all we want to do is just dust down the board. I'm using 00 flour here, so it's the Italian 00, really fine flour, which is good for gnocchi. Just dust down the board a little bit. I've got 100 grams of flour, so 500 grams of potato to 100 grams of flour is generally a good consistency, and you just want to rice it directly onto the board. Just like that, and that's looking pretty good. Groovy. So now, next thing, I've got a little bit of sea salt. Just a nice pinch of sea salt over the top of the potato, and then again the same bit of cracked pepper, and then the egg yolk straight over the top. Pop, pop, pop. Man, that pepper smells good. And you just want to slowly start to bring it all together and add the flour bit by bit. So what you're looking for here, guys, is you don't want to overwork the dough too much. You want it to sort of be a nice, soft, pliable consistency. Not too soft where it feels like you're handling mashed potato, but not too tough where it's like a really thick pasta dough. You want it to be almost like Play-Doh, really. Just a nice malleable consistency, almost like Play-Doh or elastane. That's probably the best thing I could say, but you don't want to overwork it to a point where it becomes gluey. And just keep adding the flour in slowly until eventually it will all come together to a nice pliable dough. I reckon that's pretty good. So at this stage, you see here, I haven't used all the flour, and this is what I mean by you kind of just want to judge it accordingly. So you may have to use a little bit more flour, or you may have to use a little bit less flour. It just depends on the potato, but generally I would say 500 grams equals 100 grams of... Okay, so really you just want 100 grams per 500 grams of flour. You may use a little bit less, you may use a little touch more, but generally speaking 100 to 500 is about bang spanking on, baby. All right, so next thing we do, just dust down the board a little touch more again with the flour. And we're going to cut him in half, put him aside, and we're just going to roll a nice cylindrical shape, probably about, I'd say maybe 15 centimeters long, would be about right, 15 to 20 centimeters. Push that one aside and do again the next one. And the reason why I do it in parts is it just makes it easier to handle, really, rather than you've got, this big long cylindrical, dough thing coming all the way along the bench. It's just a bit hard. It's a bit hard to deal with. So really, you're making it easier. At the end of the day, you're making it easier for yourself when you're working on the bench. And the long cylindrical shapes. Cool. That looks pretty good to me. And look, yeah, and look, don't worry if they're not exactly perfect in size, each cylindrical shape, or each, I don't know what you'd call it, dough ball length. They don't have to be perfect because it's rustic, it's home cooking, all right, next thing we do is just chop them up. Just chop them up into nice little pillows, sort of about, what would you call that? How many centimeters do you reckon that is? Maybe like maybe a couple of centimeters? Couple centimeter pillows? Yeah, and like I said, they don't have to all be exactly the same size. It's kind of nice seeing them when one's a little bit smaller, one's a little bit bigger. Obviously not like as big, this thing here, and then it's small, like, just sort of a nice mix between sizes is absolutely fine. All right, so that's the gnocchi done. So I've just transferred it all onto a plate. Now what we're going to do is going to show you how to cook it, and we're going to do it with a nice little simple sage butter sauce. That's it, baby. That's it. So first thing, I've got a pot of boiling water on the heat. I'm going to season him. And then straight in with the gnocchi. Just like that. Next, one of these babies, cast iron pan. If you haven't got a cast iron pan, any non-stick fry pan is good, or any fry pan really is good. So you want it to be sort of a medium-low heat. Pan straight on. I've got here salted butter, about 50 grams. You can always add a little bit less if you wish, if you think it's a bit too much for you. I would suggest add more, but I'm being conservative with the butter because I was told that I probably eat a little bit too much butter, so I'm being a little bit conservative. So allow that to slowly melt down, and in the meantime, just get yourself a slotted spoon. And once the gnocchi, when the gnocchi's ready when they come to the top. So it would only probably take maybe 2 minutes at most, I'd say, for the gnocchi to cook. So you just see here now, they're slowly starting to float to the top. Once they do float to the top, take them out straight away and just drain them with a colander. And just be quite gentle here when taking them out, not too heavy-handed. Just nice, light. Look after your babies. Look after your babies. Okay, groovy. So gnocchi is out and draining. Just take away the pan from the heat. You see here now, that butter has melted, and we just want to slightly brown that. Not to a point where it's burnt, but just a nice sort of caramelized color. I've got here some sage. Here, really, you can add as much or as little sage as you like. I like quite a lot because it's just nice to give that bit of fragrance and that flavor in with the butter. And stalks are fine too. You can totally use the stalks. So I've probably got here a decent handful of sage, just like that will be enough. And this goes straight in, just give it a crack, straight into the pan, and give that a mix. And what's nice here is that that butter will slowly infuse with the sage and start to crisp the sage up as well. Maybe 30 seconds, then straight in with the gnocchi. Here now, turn the heat off. Give it a little toss, just a gentle little toss. Just like that. Okay, now, straight on, a little bit more pepper over the top. And a little sprinkle of sea salt. And then of course, some cheese, nice little grating of cheese. So here I've got grana padano, but hey, you can use pecorino romano, you can use parmigiano reggiano, or any type of cheese you like. Taleggio is really nice as well. And just give it a little sprinkling over the top. Gotta try it. Hot, but really good. So that's it, guys. That's the potato gnocchi and simple sage butter sauce. Thank you so much for watching. It's Pinkwall Kitchen. Like, subscribe, follow, and look forward to seeing you next time. That's it.